Hey, what's going on, family? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I'm out here in the beautiful city of Washington, D.C., and I want you to join me this June 15th, 2024, for the Rally for Reparations Juneteenth celebration right here in Freedom Plaza. We came here to Freedom Plaza a few years ago. We turned up, turned out. It was a phenomenal event, and we're coming back to do it again, and we want to see you here. This year, we're going to have so many phenomenal speakers. We're going to have me hosting. We're going to have Brother Reza Islam, Sister Vicky Dillard, Greg Marcel Dixon, Black Alpha, Afro Elite, Dr. Randy Short, Dr. Mayat, and a very special music performance by hip-hop legend Big Daddy Kane. So family, you do not want to miss this. Come enjoy your foundational Black American heritage and celebrate it at the Rally for Reparations right here, Juneteenth celebration. For more information, go to rallyforreparations.com. That's rallyforreparations.com. We will see you here. Let me start recording while I'm here. Waiting on everybody to come on in the room, fam. How y'all living? Glad to have everybody tuning in. Everybody pile on in the room. Hope you guys are having a good week so far in the middle of the week. What's up, Juicy Genius? Where you been, Juicy Genius? I ain't seen you in a minute, dear. What's up, Nikki, the God in the building? While everybody's coming in the room, how about everybody give us a nice retweet? Everybody give us a nice retweet in the building. That'd be phenomenal if you could retweet this. Man, we are in here. I'm in D.C., by the way, guys. What's up, Different? I see you. I'm out here in the lovely, lovely Washington, D.C., getting ready for the Rally for Reparations this weekend. It is going down. It is going to be on and popping tonight. This weekend, this Saturday. And it's going to be on and popping here in this room. We're going to have it popping tonight. What time is it in LA? I'm on East Coast time, so that's why I'm doing the broadcast a little earlier tonight. So it's 8 o'clock in LA. All right. But I'm out here in DC. It's hot as hell in DC too. It is burning up out here in DC. What's up, Brother Marcel? I got to get Marcel on for a minute because I got to talk about the Rally for Reparations, Brother Marcel. And I did an interview with the same reporter that interviewed you. So I want us to talk about that in a second. But I'm out here in the beautiful DC. People are looking at that picture I took of the food that I got. I'll talk about that later. I get on the food a little bit later. I get on that. But I want to quickly touch on the decision for the Tulsa Massacre survivors. As we know, as you should know by now, they were denied justice. The Supreme Court in Oklahoma kind of tossed the case. They were suing for reparations under some kind of nuisance thing. Some kind of public nuisance. It was some kind of way they were suing under because I think they tried different angles. So they wanted to do this nuisance angle. And, they just pulled the I'm white and I say so on them and tossed that out. And that's why I was never impressed with Biden and those guys parading around those survivors doing all of these symbolic things. See, I'm not impressed by that. And they do all these symbolic things, but when the court rulings come down, they can never produce no damn justice. They do all of this dancing around and parading these people around, but then act like they're completely helpless when it comes to producing justice. When it comes to compensating victims of these racialized crimes, they just act completely helpless. That's why, family, we got to be out in DC heavy this weekend. We got to talk about all this stuff. We're going to be talking about all of this stuff. But in Tulsa, we keeping on. We're going to keep keeping on. We're not going to let that setback throw everybody off. We got to still keep persevering with this thing. Yeah, we understand there's going to be an uphill battle dealing with these white supremacists, but that's why we got to stay on our square. What's up, Wani? What's up, Average? Yeah, we got to stay on our square out here with these folks. And listen, shout out to the people of Tulsa, man. These are some amazing people. And I'm going to break down this whole Tulsa thing, why the common law of what they did and why the dominant society didn't want to produce justice for the brothers and sisters of Tulsa. Um, we got to understand this was something that was done by the government. The government allowed those brothers and sisters to get massacred like that. And the government should be on the hook for it. I think there might have been some other strategies that they could have used. The unjust enrichment strategy. I know some people have sued for that because y'all got to understand. They took those people's land. They went in those banks that those brothers and sisters had. They were taking wealth from them out there. So the white supremacist community, they were unjustly enriching themselves. That's one part we always forget. When they would run black people off their lands with the help of the government and the military, what happened to that land? The white people just said, okay, put it in my name. You know, they enriched themselves, and the government sat up there and let them do it. Constitution be damned. And that's another thing that I think there's another clause that they can use where if the government doesn't protect you to a certain degree, there's another clause. I think it's breach of duty by the government. I think that was another angle that they could have done. There's a lot of different angles. Some people said the civil rights angle, a civil rights violation, but I think with civil rights violations, there's a statute of limitation. There's a certain window where you have to file a civil rights violation. And this case is over a century old. But I think there were probably some other angles that they could have used. This is why we got to have a real team of thorough lawyers to just keep these things going back to back, coming at different angles. We really need lawyers out here. We need some more of the Johnny Cochrans and the people like that. We really don't have that to really stomp down with these lawsuits the way we need them to. But a lot of people forget with the Tulsa race riot, the stuff that happened afterwards. Because after they burned down everything and used those planes to bomb the place, when the brothers and sisters were trying to rebuild, they were still throwing obstacles in their way. They were still doing little janky stuff. The white community, they had put some orders in where if they rebuild the buildings, all of the buildings had to be 2-story. Also, they said, if you rebuild, you're going to have to get this very expensive fireproof material for the building. So they were doing little janky administrative sabotaging like they do now. They do that now. They do that to us at the museum in LA. They do the administrative sabotage, make all of these janky, weird requirements that we got to have. And, you know, a lot of people just simply can't afford it. But the amazing thing is a lot of those brothers and sisters still pooled their money together and actually rebuilt. Back in after the riot happened, a couple of years later, many of the black people rebuilt their homes. They got their homes back and they started to get their businesses back. And the white supremacist community was like, good freaking grief. These Negroes that sat here and rebuilt this thing somewhat. It wasn't as thriving as it was before, but they still kind of rebuilt. And so they said, okay, you know what? In the 1960s, they had the death blow, the Greenwood area, and they put a freeway down there. They started doing those urban renewals. They said, hey, let's use the strategies that we've been using in these other places. So they put a freeway right down there. Let's get Los in here. Los is somebody, Los was kind of celebrating that the people didn't get their justice. This is Los. Los is the suspected tether who claims to be from our lineage. Los, what's happening?
What's good,
up,
Chief?
Los? I'm sorry, you were kind of celebrating, like ha-ha and kikiing that the people didn't get restorative justice.
That is not true. That is not true.
You were like, what did you tell people what you said?
Um, no, so basically, my comment was surrounded by basically like, why are we surprised that this happens in America? I
We
mean,
ain't
like, we are
surprised.
that you're still shocked that these things happen.
Who said who
Like,
said we're shocked? Who said we're
let's look
shocked?
at the facts here, though. Let's look at the
Who
facts,
said
right?
we're shocked?
No one said we're shocked,
We're
but
not
it's
shocked. We're used to it. When we're like we're not letting that throw us off our square. So you coming in with a whole weird agenda, but go ahead.
but so I mean, I'm on this. I was just in Tulsa about 2 weeks ago. Um, so, but the court. Let's be clear about what the court said. The court, right? So first, let's look at Oklahoma's public nuisance law. All right. So the law defines a public nuisance as an act or omission that quote annoys, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, or safety of others, affecting at the same time an entire community or neighborhood or any considerable number of persons. That's the state statute in Oklahoma. Now, the court ordered today, so the court first ruled that the plaintiff's grievances about the entire destruction of the Greenwood district did not fall within the scope of the state's public nuisance
How
statute, which is not true.
right.
It does.
Right.
All right. But the ultimate thing that they decided on was that the court held that the plaintiffs had asked the court to decide a quote political question that is beyond the purview of the court. So just like right on the federal level, it's on Congress in order if we want reparations in this country, it's on Congress to ensure those things happen here in this country. So I mean, the only thing I agree with the court on is that they're asking the court to decide a political issue, which should be they should have went to the Oklahoma legislature in order for this to really be something of true substance, because it's going to be turned down by a court anyway, just like
Okay.
in
That's on
California.
white not say so, bro. That no, I'm not buying that. That's on white not say so. They could have made the ruling properly. Johnson and Johnson, they had a ruling against Johnson and Johnson, I think, in Oklahoma, by the way, with that same public nuisance thing because they blamed Johnson and Johnson for the opioid crisis. You understand? So they know how to put charges on folks and make them pay, and they know how to do that. Or then they know how to do that on white not say so and come up with some janky excuse, and that's all that is. That's a janky excuse. I'm not buying that, bro.
No, and I agree. I mean, I'm
Okay.
with you. It is a janky
Right.
excuse,
Right. It's on
but
white not.
but
That's
it
all it is. I'm not going to even sit there and act like that's a real legitimate thing because they can give compensation. Man, if you bump into an Asian person, boy, there's checks going to be flowing. They know how to provide compensation and then a hate crime bill and the whole shebang. They know how to get stuff together when it comes to us. And nobody deserves justice more than those survivors of the Tulsa race riot. That was a horrible thing that the government was a part of. And they've been sitting around waiting on those people to die for the longest. And they've been holding on, trying to produce justice out here. But yeah, your tweet was you were like, but you're proud to be FBA. What a contradiction. So what does that have to do with this case?
so it has to do with the case because this country shows us time and time again that they just completely shit on us.
What
They
else is new? What else
completely
is new? What does that have to do with our lineage though?
so it's less about what it has to do about lineage, but we're still trying to fight in this country where that's where I disagree with FBA, because
What do you
we're
disagree
trying
with
to
FBA?
instead
What does
of
that mean? That don't mean what does that mean? How you gonna disagree with a
because
lineage? Our
we're
lineage ain't something that you can disagree or agree with. It is.
I'm not. That's not what I'm.
What do you say?
The
What
stance on these things is that we're still expecting things to change in this country, right? Like that. Like we have. You all have an expectation that things are to change and will change one
yeah, they
day, and
will.
I just don't believe they will.
Okay, then what's your solution? How come you haven't left? No,
I'm
that's
trying to
a
take
legitimate
40.
question.
I want to take 40,000 because if I go somewhere, right? Okay, if I go to Ghana where I own 10 acres of land, if I go to Ghana and live permanently, I want to have a water system that is that works fairly, right? But it can't be just me. So I've proposed to people, let's take 40,000 Black Americans from here to
Okay, well,
African
okay. If
countries.
that's the case, if y'all want, why don't y'all ever be in these Pan African rooms where all the Pan Africans always yelling at us about how we ain't from here and we from Mama Africa?
Because I don't agree with that. I don't,
I mean,
I'm not,
there's
because I'm
why? I mean, for real. I mean, there's a bunch of these rooms, right? According to they make rooms all the time about us. Y'all basically getting a bunch of
yeah,
y'all
but
getting a bunch of
I'm not
rooms.
them.
Y'all
I'm
getting a bunch
more
of rooms complaining about us. Why don't all of y'all get together?
I'm more aligned because you
No,
misunderstand me,
I'm talking
right?
about
So
all of y'all. Listen, no, slow down,
I
slow down.
align.
I'm talking about all of you. Y'all super duper Wakanda Pan Africanists stay in our rooms and y'all make these little hate rooms about us. Why don't y'all, if y'all such Pan Africanists and y'all want shea butter and vibranium and all of that shit, why don't all of y'all just pool your money together and go over there? It's an abundance of you guys. You're always in our spaces. Why don't y'all get y'all a little a tether bus or a tether boat and all float over there and go to Ghana and live on them 10 acres and have shea butter and mango, coffee beans, whatever y'all want over there, bushmeat, whatever y'all want. I mean, what's stopping y'all?
Because it takes foundational Black
No,
Americans.
no, no, no,
That's
no, no,
why.
no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah,
Go
yeah,
to
yeah.
go
It
to the
does.
Caribbean. No, no, leave us out of it. God damn it, leave us out of it. How come y'all just
No,
trying to
this we
tell us we
cannot
don't want it?
because
We
I'm not
don't want it,
because
brother.
again I'm
We
more
don't want
aligned
it.
with foundational. I'm a
All
foundational
right, but
Black
we
American.
don't want it. Stop trying to recruit us. Go recruit Caribbeans. We don't want it. We ain't
No,
buying.
there's some that are willing. There's
God
some
damn,
that are willing.
leave
You're
us
not willing,
alone.
but there's some that are willing.
We ain't buying, bro. Y'all just go find your like-minded people and go over there and do you. That's all y'all got to do, brother. We're gonna stand here and try to produce justice. We don't need y'all wagging your finger. These white people,
Trying to
these white people gonna treat y'all
all right.
wrong. Well, your ass is still
Tariq,
here,
what's the definition of insanity? What's the definition of insanity?
fleeing from your homeland, eating off other people. That's crazy as cat shit. And then fronting like you FBA, like your ass is, because I don't believe you're FBA. I don't believe it at all.
That's fine. That's an opinion. That's cool. But the true definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
That's why we
So
do
you
things
all
in
are doing
different.
the same shit here in this
That's
country.
why we do things, and if it one angle don't work, we're gonna try another angle. This is how we slowly get progress. For years, they say we couldn't get civil rights, just basic civil rights. For years, we tried different things, and then in the 1960s, we said, "Hey, you know what? Give me that Molotov cocktail real quick." We figured out some ways to get some civil rights, and we got them. You understand? So yeah, we've tried different things. Some things didn't work. Some things
Yeah.
worked.
How many civil rights have we gained since then?
We're still working on things.
You Asians have the anti Asian hate crime bill, whatever that's called.
Right.
We can, we can't even get a George Floyd policeman, whatever
Right.
that bull
And
crap
you
is.
know why?
We can't even get that
And you
passed.
know why? Because we have too many tethers who are misrepresenting us out here. That's the problem. We have things like the Congressional Black Caucus, the NAACP that is tethered up all it's completely tethered up. We done had tether ass Obama, tether ass Kamala. We got too many tethers misrepresenting us. That's why us on the grassroots, we're saying enough is enough. We don't want all of these weirdos representing us because we ain't getting no damn justice. We don't want people showing up in Tulsa like Sheila Jackson Lee. She was out there doing the damn Dougie, dancing around with her little musty big back ass bent over. See, we don't want none of that. All right. This is what we're saying.
You got people like Maxine
Right. And
Waters.
we get on Maxine Waters case.
You probably live in her
Yeah,
district.
no, but I know about her district, and I'm very familiar with Maxine Waters, and we've been critical of her. But yeah, we're trying to produce justice out here. And by the way, because you were the other day you were talking about degeneracy and Black society and all that, I found out you managed that Miss Netta dude, that Miss Netta and her husband or his whatever that is. How long you been managing them?
Since January.
Okay, and really, you want to talk about degeneracy in Black society? You got this.
Yeah, I am a capitalist.
Uh,
First off,
ah,
let's
Because yeah, you were real big on family values and the family this and the family that. Okay, and all right,
Yeah, and I still am.
okay,
I'm 30 years old. I have a wonderful wife.
okay.
We have a son on the way. Yeah, I've been knowing my wife for 10 years. I met her on my 21st birthday 10 years ago. Be June 25th. I mean June 25th this year when I turned 31.
Well, boy,
So
you were really
I you
going,
know
but
I
this you were really going hard about how um, you need fathers and the mama and the family, the nuclear family and the structure of family. You were real big on that, and you're managing kind of a dude out here with a wig on, and dude's getting a BBL, and okay, all right, okay.
yeah, but I
That's
mean
what it is.
because
And
all
not
you know
knocking.
because a
I'm
few
not
things.
knocking nobody.
But here's the thing though. A few things can also exist, right? I can believe, I can have my values, and other people can have their values, and I can believe that we all, every whatever your values are, that's true to you, right? And so, and that's how I perceive things. I believe in equity, right? So just like I have an equitable place of being able to love my wife, anybody else who want to love who they want to love and desire to love,
Hmm.
there's an equitable place for them to do
All
so.
right then. Well, then don't be yelling
And
all that family value stuff then, because you were the main one yelling
but
about
why not?
family.
Why?
I mean, is that family values? These dudes walking around getting BBLs, is that family values?
So,
Dudes getting
um,
BBLs?
but they don't desire to have a family. I mean,
Oh,
outside of the two of them.
okay.
So
Right,
so
right. See, all right, Los, because you tether babbling. So thank you so much. See, well, these folks are a piece of work, man. These people are a piece of work. But yeah, we're gonna discuss this stuff. We're gonna discuss this stuff in here in Washington D.C. this weekend. But again, about the Tulsa thing, why they didn't want to produce justice, why the dominant society, they thought what happened to the people in Tulsa, deep down, they felt like they deserve what happened to them. Because y'all heard me talk about Tulsa before. Tulsa is a very significant place. Oklahoma is a very significant place for foundational Black Americans. Um, the white supremacists, they don't forget when they take an L. The white supremacists, you want to talk about somebody holding a grudge. The white supremacists, they hold a grudge. See, even with Haiti, they've held a grudge against Haiti ever since 1804. Uh, Dessalines and those riders beating the brakes off of them, they've been getting revenge on Haiti nonstop. What happened in Tulsa, that was a century old revenge hit. How did Black folks get to Tulsa? And this is in our movie American Maroon. You can go watch that on FBA Stream. Tulsa has a bunch of blacks, well, they had a bunch of Black Seminoles in Tulsa. And they ended up in Oklahoma because many of them were on the Trail of Tears. Many of them were sent out of Florida because the Black Seminoles were in Florida in the 1800s, the mid 1800s, beating the living crap out of them white supremacist family. I really want people to understand how significant the Seminole War was. You got to watch my film American Maroon because it's never talked about in mainstream society. That's been something that they've been keeping on the low for years. Black people in Florida pretty much stopped slavery there. They started burning down the plantations. They were beating down the United States Army. I mean, these dudes were sniping army generals. These dudes were putting in work down there. Dade, General Dade, the Dade Massacre. That was the Black Seminoles. That's what Dade County is named after. Them Black Seminoles towed General Dade's ass up and chopped him up in pieces, killed like all of his men, left like two alive. You understand? Them brothers were down there putting in mad work. They fought some guerrilla warfare down there. They were Maroons. They were down there using unconventional warfare, and they were coming up with tactics that the U.S. Army couldn't combat like that. That's why they never beat them. So they had to cut a deal with the black people down there. They had something called Jessup's Proclamation. This came years before the Emancipation Proclamation because they kept trying to do these little tricky deals. They would say the U.S. Army would wave a white flag and say, "Hey, hey, hey, let's have a truce. Let's sit down and have a truce." And then when the Seminoles would go down and have a truce or a parlay with them, they'd be like, "Ha ha, got you, nigga," and then try to lock them up. So they put them down in one of them forts down there. What was the name of that fort? That's in St. Augustine. I forgot that fort. There's a real big fort down there that was supposed to be impenetrable. They put them down there with John Horse and some of the other black Seminoles, and them niggas broke up out of there and said, "Hey, we about to turn up some more," and start whipping their ass some more. These brothers were on some superpower Majora energy vibe down there. They were beating the brakes off them white supremacists, dude. They were beating them so bad. They had the government told the press in the country, "Hey, you can't tell people what's going on down here. You'll get charged with sedition. You can't admit that black people are down here kicking our ass. You're going to get charged with a felony if you sit here and print this in your newspapers." So they had to keep that a secret because they understood if black people around the country found out that you had a bunch of folks in Florida whooping ass like that, everybody's going to flock down to Florida some more. So you had General Jessup who had to make a proclamation. He said, "Okay, let's make a deal," because they realized they couldn't put them black people on plantations. You know, if they got somebody who captured them or whatever, you couldn't put them Seminoles and black Seminoles on a plantation. They just get everybody riled up. So they said, "Hey, let's make a deal. Let's sign this document. Y'all niggas, we're not gonna even try to arrest you. All right, you killed a lot of our folks. Y'all just leave Florida, go out to Indian Territory, go out to no man's land, go out to Oklahoma." And that was what the proclamation was. So they sent a lot of those black Seminoles who were turning up. They sent them out to Oklahoma. And they've always had that fighting spirit. That's why in Oklahoma, that spirit of self-determination, Oklahoma has the most black run towns. Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, had the most in the entire United States. The most black founded towns were in Oklahoma. All over Oklahoma, they had these black founded towns. Black people had that independent spirit. They were used to being self sufficient. They could feed themselves, house themselves. So they created all of these cities out there. And Tulsa, that was the zenith. That was like the mecca where it was really, really popping out there because the white supremacists weren't in their mix. See, that's the thing. With foundational black Americans, when the white supremacists, they're not in our mix, we actually thrive. And what happened down in Tulsa, black people were running things and they didn't let the white supremacists come in and exploit people. Like in a lot of black cities, the white supremacist community would use black cities or black towns or black districts. They'll use that as their little red light district. So they'll have people slanging dope here, and they have a little hoe stroll over here. So the little freaky white men come out there at night and do a little weird shit. Tulsa, they didn't have that. They're like, "No, these creepy white men better not come out here with that bullshit." You know, we got legitimate, upstanding businesses out here. They really gate kept their community. And the white supremacists really didn't like that. Because every time, sometimes the white supremacists will come out there to Tulsa and try to grope on the women, and the brothers would whoop down on them. The brothers weren't playing those games out there in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. And at the beginning of the race riots, people have heard the story about this kid. He was in an elevator and he fell and he tripped on the white woman or whatever. There's been different stories about what really happened. Some people said that he was actually in a relationship with the white woman. Some people said he kind of bumped into her on the elevator. There's a lot of different rumors about what actually happened. But what happened after the incident in the elevator, they said rape. They just threw the word rape out there. So the white supremacists heard that word and they were just going to go and try to gaffle black folks up. And what happened was the black people in Tulsa said, "No, you're not going to do that." In that first day of the riots, the white people were getting their asses whooped out there. that first day of the Tulsa riots, the black folks fought back and they said, no, y'all not going to be whooping on us like that. And they were putting in work on their ass. That's why them cowardly ass white supremacists had to go get them planes the next day. They realized they couldn't fight them brothers and sisters toe to toe. They were getting their asses handed to them. So they had to go get them planes. And there's rumors that those planes were military planes. We don't know. So the white supremacists are trying to say it was private planes. Some people say they were military planes. Um, they're really trying to splain about whose planes those were. They're doing a lot of splaining. But we do know they got in them planes and started dropping bombs all over the black area and just completely destroying the place. And the government let it happen. Because people just don't fly planes willy-nilly. You got to get permission. You've always had to get permission to fly planes. You get permission from the government. So the government was completely complicit in all that stuff. Yeah. So we just got to understand the full context. So them stomping down on those brothers and sisters in Tulsa, that was their memory of these same people who whooped on them in Florida. So they felt like they were getting their lick back even today. See, the white people, they know this story. They know who these folks are. They know who we are. They know what we've done and they know what we're capable of. So you got to understand how they think. So having this non-justice pop off, that's them getting their lick back. They think they're slick. You understand? So we got to look at things in that context. Yeah. And, just keep on coming up with different strategies in order to produce justice, which we will do. We ain't tripping on that. We're not tripping on that at all. Let's get who's this? Iron Malt. I think that's your name, Iron Malt. But we got almost 1,000 people in here already. A lot of folks in here quickly. Iron Malt, what's up, brother? All right, don't mess up the flow of the
All
show.
right. I'm sorry about that, man.
How you
Yeah,
doing?
13 black towns there on Tariq.
Yep.
13 black towns.
Oh yeah.
Boley, Oklahoma, that's where your cowboy color come from, the Boley Rodeo.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um Clareview, Oklahoma, actually had some African wild dogs. When I asked my dad about how they got them, they were saying people coming back from Liberia or something.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, saying 13 black towns around Oklahoma.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oklahoma, they were doing their thing, man. Oh, those brothers and sisters were on top of it, man. Thank you so much, brother. So I said African wild dog. Speaking of that, I went to I'm out here in DC. Where are my DC people? Raise your hand, DC. Where are my DC people? Because we're getting ready for the rally for reparations this week. Shout out to DC. So I got here and I'm trying to get something to eat, and I was going to go to Georgia Brown's. Y'all know about Georgia Brown's, all my DC people. Very, very nice restaurant. FBA restaurant. Who owns Georgia Brown's? I forgot. It's a sister who owns it, right? The food is delicious at Georgia Brown's. Absolutely delicious. So I wanted to go to Georgia Brown's because I'm not too far from there. And for some reason it was closed. I'm like, what the hell is closed for on a Wednesday? So Georgia Brown was closed. So I'm like, let me find something else. So like right like a block away across the street, I'm looking at my little Google Maps, and it was like an African fusion with Southern accents. Okay. An African restaurant with Southern accents. I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. And it was close by and it was open. So I'm like, okay, let me try this. Because I ain't really trying to walk around this, just let me try this. So it's called Moi Moi's. And I posted the menu. So the menu was like African restaurant with Southern accents. I'm like, well, okay, I want to see what this is gonna be like. And some of the words were misspelled on the on the menu. I said, it's all right, it's okay. And there's only one person in the restaurant, one other customer. Okay. So I go to the restaurant, and it looks like it's they kind of have it the way it's set up. They had the tables and things, but I think they might have like a little Afro beach night in there. I don't know. Look like they kind of turned it into a club, whatever. And I don't know. So I'm looking at the menu, and okay, I'm not familiar with some of these things, but I said, let me see what I can see. So they had jerk chicken as an appetizer. I said, okay, I get the jerk chicken. this ginger lemonade drink and some Jollof. Okay. So I had the ginger drink. It was like a ginger lemonade with mango. That was good. The ginger drink was good. The jerk wings, they kind of look funny, but they weren't bad. They weren't bad. It wasn't, I've been to some Jamaican jerk restaurants that were popping, but they weren't bad. They weren't bad. And also with the jerk chicken, it was like a little coleslaw, but it had slices of mango in it, and that was actually good. They had like this very unique coleslaw. I said, okay, this is cool. The coleslaw is good, but that goddamn Jollof, nigga, no, dude. This is like my second time trying Jollof. Is Jollof supposed to smell like rodent meat? It smelled like it literally smelled like a puppy. The rice stank. It stank. The rice smelled like a little animal. I'm not exaggerating. And I'm eating and I'm like, okay, sometimes something will smell funny, but it tastes good, like chitlins. Like y'all remember back in the day when you would eat chitlins, when your grandma made you, all of us, we tried chitlins. Chitlins smell horrible, but when you put a little hot sauce on them and eat them, I'm like, shit, this ain't too bad. You know? It ain't so bad if you kind of season them and. But the Jollof had this weird, funky little smell, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it'll taste better. Nigga, it tastes worse than it smells. I don't know if I'm eating the wrong Jollof. This is like my second time trying it. It ain't good. I don't know what's the hype about this damn Jollof. That shit is not good for I don't know. It ain't good. It's not good. I don't know what it is. I'm like, where's the Southern accent to this shit? There was nothing Southern or accent about none of this. I lived in the South for most of my youth. I ain't never smelled nothing like that in no food. There was nothing Southern about that. I don't know why they're using the term Southern accent. And even in the jerk chicken, there was nothing really Southern about none of this stuff. Nothing was Southern about it. Los, what you got to say? Hold on. Hop on, Los.
Southern cuisine. So I don't know why you trying Jollof in America. If it's not was it an African restaurant?
It was an African restaurant, but they're promoting the restaurant. It's an African
What part of
restaurant.
Africa? What
It
Jollof
said
is?
it said a West African restaurant with Southern accents. That's how they're promoting it. So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, that you shouldn't trust that anyway.
well, shit. Well, damn, I'm trying. I want to try something new. Don't you?
Yeah,
What do
no,
you mean
don't.
don't trust it? Aren't you the Pan Africanist?
Yeah, but I've so as a, I've actually eaten Jollof rice in Africa, and it does not taste what you're explaining. So that's why I'm
How
kind
is
of
it
confused.
supposed to taste?
It's supposed to taste like seasoned rice, like like just I mean it's
Is
seasoned
this
rice.
is it supposed to smell like an animal?
No, it's not. That's why
I
I'm like,
swear to
why
God,
you
like
trusting a place and with African restaurant with sub whatever they call it.
with southern accent. So yeah, I'm thinking, okay, I can do that. Southern, I can rock with Southern. So yeah, it wasn't nothing Southern in it. So shit, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
no, you were wrong for that.
Oh, so I'm wrong for trying some nasty ass food? How am I wrong? I didn't make no musty ass rice. I didn't know the rice was gonna be musty. How am I supposed to know that? God damn, this dude will not take responsibility. Boy, I know you a tether. Look, I didn't make the musty ass damn rice. Hell, I didn't know the shit was gonna smell and taste like that. That's your fault. The hell, Lord, man, please. It's not my fault for them false advertising. Don't false advertise. No, I was deceived. There was nothing Southern about none of the food. Nothing Southern. No, if you advertise something and I try it and it's not like you advertise, that's not my fault that I got tricked. I wish people stop trying to tether on to our stuff. Just call it. Don't. That's what I'm saying. If y'all make some janky food that smell, y'all own that. Don't put that on us. Don't be using Southern and Don't do that, because they're playing janky with the words. When you say Southern, that implies, foundational Black American. You understand? Because Southern, that can mean like Paula Dean, So they shouldn't be deceptive with the words. Okay. But speaking of big back bushmeat, T.S. Giselle, what's going on? What's up, T.S. Giselle?
Now, what we're not about to do, we're not going to do this because nothing gives big back. First off, let me tell you, and even if my back were big, which it's not, I just got flued out again, all expenses paid, first class flight. I just returned to the United States from Mexico. So, somebody like this big back, Tariq.
Yes, they do.
Ow.
Yes, because you were down in Mexico and they used your big back as a pinata to beat candy out of you for the kids. But go ahead.
So, speaking of me returning stateside, I've got some bad news, Tariq.
What happened?
The TS won't be able to make her presence at the FBA rally. All, I don't know what to say, but my stomach is toe up from the flow up. It's one of two things: either I'm pregnant, or I got Montezuma's revenge. Okay,
Lord,
so my stomach ain't
you
been
are
right since
not.
I got back
You
from Mexico,
are,
so my presence won't be
okay.
made at the FBA rally. So I know you're
You,
very
you,
devastated.
you're not pregnant. You swear you Beyonce. You swear you Beyonce. You are not Beyonce Knowles. All right. You are built like Matthew Knowles, but you're not Beyonce. All right.
That's a lie because I don't know any girl that gets flued around the world built like a Matthew knows. As a matter of fact, Tariq, I'm getting flued out to Europe by another man in a
Oh,
couple of weeks. Okay, and I only travel in the front of the plane. Y'all know you know the
yeah,
FBA girls aren't
yeah,
accustomed to that.
yeah.
I fly at the front. Hold on.
You're getting flued out by Vladimir Putin because they need a big bear back out there in Russia. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I fly at the front of the plane where meals are served on dishes.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Now, um,
All right.
I
Let me
like.
get. All right,
I
thank you
got
so
a question.
much. Oh, yeah, that's enough. All right, Party Goy, hop on, man.
Yes. So I'm actually going to be out in DC, and I heard that, there's going to be a lot of activities taking place for Pride Month. So I'm going to be able to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to be able to go to the Reparations, March for Reparations, Juneteenth celebration, and I'm also going to be able to have my first time experiencing Pride in DC. So I wanted to thank you for creating this opportunity to me. And I'm also going to be bringing some of my guy friends with me, and they're white, so hopefully they'll be accepted at the event, Tariq.
Well, hey, man, enjoy yourself and enjoy your zaddies. We're not mad at you. You can bring whoever you want to bring, but thank you. Speaking of that, family, um, we did an interview. I did an interview with the a reporter who's going to be at the event, and this reporter, where's brother Marcel? Where's brother Marcel? Marcel, you in here, brother? I got Marcel in here. Hold on, let me get Marcel up real quick. Okay, yeah, this is interesting. And Marcel had told me about this before. I didn't know that you spoke with this same reporter, Marcel. I didn't know you spoke with this guy too. But Marcel kind of tipped me off earlier. He was like, "Hey, man, this reporter told me about this other event that's going down out here in DC the same day as our event." And then when I talked to him later, he told me he talked to you, Marcel. What's up, brother Marcel?
Hey Tariq, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What all did the reporter tell you when you talked to him, and how'd you connect with that guy?
Well, somehow he had my personal phone number, which people can get because it's online, like everyone's personal phone number is. And he just texted me asking if I would be willing to speak. And I told him, okay. At first I had looked him up, and I had my campaign manager look him up to make sure he was legit. And once we saw that he was, I said, okay, I'll be willing to speak.
Yeah, yeah. So the this is what's going on. There's an organization, the the National Black Justice Committee. That's the name of it, right, Marcel?
Something like that. I ain't never heard of these people before.
I've heard of them. It's that David John guy, something like that. This is a guy. this is basically one of them gender organizations that uses the word black, but they really push a lot of the gender stuff. And they're scheduled to be out there the same day as us, but like right across the street somewhere, like real close to where we're going to be. And when the reporter was telling me this, and I'm like, oh, and then you told me this, and I start looking up their site. It's reparations. All they weren't on that reparations thing at first, and we've been following these guys and kind of monitoring them for years, but they were on their website. It's reparations. Oh, reparations. Now this is the guy who. Now these are Democratic shills, by the way. This is a Democratic funded thing. This is not grassroots whatsoever. The guy who they put in charge of that, he was the dude on the Breakfast Club with Malik Yoba. He was on there. Remember him doing all of that? Y'all need to stop worrying about some damn just because a woman got a damn dick. A dick don't mean nothing. It's all about the people's spirit. It's the spirit. You don't know what y'all worry about some dick. A little dick ain't gonna kill nobody. He was on. That was that dude. Was like, don't worry if a woman has a penis. Just look past that. It was that. It's them. So they got a website. It's where it's all about transgender and this and that. Okay, but they frame it as a Black justice coalition. But they got all of these other agendas tied in with it, and they got them people that's going to be out there when we're out there this Saturday. So what I'm thinking that they're trying to do, they're going to use our numbers. They're going to try to use our numbers, and they're going to show all of the people out there and all of the grassroots support that we're getting. And some cameras are going to be right out there looking for those guys to interview them. And then they're going to start giving their little janky ass talking points as if all of us are co-signing their talking points. You know what I'm saying? This is what I think they're going to try to pull. They tried to pull something like that last time. They had straight up agent provocateurs out at the Rally for Reparations in 2022. Remember, we saw some interviews later, and they had this one dude. I'm not going to even mention his name. Y'all know, if y'all been following me, y'all know who this op is. So he just happened to be there doing an interview. This white quote unquote reporter is interviewing him, and he's up there talking about Jews. Yeah, the Jews, slavery was started by the Jews. It ain't white people. It's the Jews who started all this. We need to get reparations from the Jews. He up here talking crazy. This is the dude that none of us even rock with, but he just happened to be there, and there's a camera right in his face, and somebody's interviewing him with all of us in the background, and they try to make it seem like we're there co-signing this idiot's talking points. But we've already distanced ourselves from that guy anyway. So that's why he was ineffective, you see? So I think they're going to try to pull that. They're going to try to have these all lives matter people out there under the guise of reparations. They got a whole bunch of reparations stuff on their website. And then they're going to run out there and try to put the cameras right in their faces so they can be like, you know what? Yeah, reparations for all Black people, and not just Black people, reparations for all people who experience racism. Asians, Mexicans, they're going to try to pull that. So, fam, we got to be heavy out there. We got to be out there real heavy. We got to be out there heavy and eyes and ears wide open. We got to be out there with our eyes and ears wide open, family, so they ain't going to try to pull no twists. All right, let me see. We got a lot of people. Let's get Ichiru. Hop in, Ichiru. Boy, we got a lot of people in here. Ichiru. Hop on. All right. And let me get my brother Black Alpha in the building, who's going to be one of the speakers this Saturday at the Rally for Reparations Juneteenth celebration. Black Alpha, what's up, brother?
Salute, brother. How you feeling, family?
I'm good, brother. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm so ready. I can't wait to see you and see the whole family here on Saturday, man. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, brother. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, man.
And yeah, the community, man, they need to feel your fire and your spirit, man. I know you're going to bring it up there, man. You're going to bring it heavy.
Yes, sir, brother. And you know, I remember that guy on that interview with Malik Yoba. I remember that. And I remember you was calling that out a long time ago. So yes, I see these co-opting Democratic Shield organizations, and I just want the family to know that there is only one genuine, certified rally for reparations, and that is going to be the one that we all, as a foundational Black American lineage, host. And I can't wait to see the whole family there. Certified salute to you, big bro.
My man, see you this weekend, brother. Peace. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. But yeah, we've seen a lot of these Juneteenth things, and they're trying to throw the word reparations around. And no, we got to stand on this thing for real, for real. Let's get let me see, Empress Enchanted in the building. Let's get Empress Enchanted in the building. Empress Enchanted, where you at, dear?
I'm here, Tariq. How are you?
I'm good, beloved. How are you?
I'm good, but I'm so sad about this story that you was telling about this food. Tariq, you in my city and you ain't eating no food. You got a wife. I feel like we need to be accountable for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, look, I go to Georgia Brown's, but for some reason I don't know why Georgia Brown's was closed. What other restaurants are good as Georgia Brown's?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you two restaurants, right? So I don't know if they open now because right now it's like 11:55 on the East Coast, but Ooze and Oz. And so Ooze and Oz, they got a takeout, right? I think they on Uber Eats. Don't quote me on the Uber Eats part because that's new. If they got a location on 10th Street in Northwest, and then they got a sit-in location on Georgia Avenue. That's one location. Ooze and Oz. It's literally called Ooze and Oz.
Heard
And
about.
then yeah, that's
Isn't that kind of do they have like breakfast, like a kind of a breakfast spot?
They do not. Now I do have a breakfast spot, but the breakfast spot I think it should be open tomorrow. So it's a historical place. Like I just only give out Black American historical places. It's called Florida Grill. So
Okay.
so you could just Google it real quick. It's on Florida Avenue. If you're not far from Georgia Brown's, then you're not far from Florida Grill. You should go there. And then the other restaurant is Ben's Next Door, which is actually on my tour spot. Like their mother restaurant is the historical Ben's Chili Bowl. I know you've been there. I hope so. Like
I
you
heard
can't
about
keep coming to DC having these weird experiences. It's the third story I've heard you tell, and it's
it.
like, oh my God, what is DC not about to go out like that?
Oh man. No, it's all love. It's just in the place. I give them the benefit of the doubt. Even the little coleslaw thing was okay, but that Jollof, no.
Those people cannot represent DC
No.
at all. So yeah, like that
But I'll check
particular
out Uzana.
restaurant.
Every people keep telling me about Uzana, so I definitely want
Mhm.
to. But thank you so much, beloved. Yeah, I got to check out Uzana. They were telling me about that last time. What's up, Kenny T? I see you down there, dear. I know you're gonna be out here, Kenny T. I know you're gonna be out here, dear. Let's get let me see. Let's get Slap a Cracker. Slap a Cracker. Let's get Slap a Cracker in the building. Hop on, brother. Slap a Cracker in the building. Hop on, sir. And
Can you
while
hear me?
there you go. What's up, fam?
Yeah. I had two questions. The second one I really want to answer for, but this first one, have you heard Whoopi Goldberg say that she has her family got 40 acres and a mule, and all us other FBAs don't, that we ain't fill out the right paperwork and we don't know how to do it. We ain't do it right.
No, I haven't heard that. When she say that?
Yeah, she said that. She said that in some interview. I don't know if that was actually on the View or something, but you can look it up on Google or whatever. She said her family got 40 acres in a mule, and I guess the rest of us, our descendants, ain't do it the right way, but she got it.
No, yeah, I gotta hear that interview. I have not heard that. I really got to look into that. I don't like when people do that. Well, y'all just didn't fill it out right. Well, then tell us what you did. Then you know what I'm saying. If we didn't fill it out right, I hate that when people come around telling us what we ain't doing right. Y'all ain't really doing. Y'all ain't filing the right paperwork for reparations. Okay, nigga, show me the paperwork you filled out. You show us how to do it right. You understand? Nobody can really tell us as black people how to do it because none of us we've gotten reparations yet. See, we've not gotten it yet, so nobody's really an expert on it because it's not been implemented. So we're figuring this thing out, and that's okay. It's okay to figure it out. Lady Rock, let's get Lady Rock in the building.
Hello, Tariq. How are you?
I'm good.
Coming,
How are
great.
you, Lady Rock?
I am doing very well. Coming to you from Los Angeles after my celebration of going to the moon. How dramatically outrageous it is what happened today. I've been involved with. I learned about Black Wall Street massacre about 3 or 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you probably already discussed it. I just joined you, so sorry if I'm repeating my great concern for the injustice that took place today.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years ago, I was exploring possibility of. I am investor in the space industry. I am also a philanthropist who is sending to the moon a lot of significant things philanthropically, together with Elon Musk's SpaceX and my company.
Yeah.
And the reason that I am bringing it up is because I believe that there is an opportunity to use tokens. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency. I'm talking about what blockchain allows us to do, which is issue coins and tokens that are dedicated to the particular cause as a way to compensate the victims in the way that is independent of the court decisions, traditional fundraising. And I'm just bringing it up because I have resources and teams to potentially make it happen if this is the appropriate thing to do under the circumstances. Since I haven't
How would that be implemented? How would that be implemented for?
beautifully, and you know what? I'm just launching a Lady Rocket token myself. So here's how it happens. You probably heard about Dogecoin, which just with the support of Elon, one tweet, has a
Right.
current valuation of $200 billion. Why? Because people loved it, because people decided to buy it, and people decided to hang around with this token. So technically, my company has capabilities to issue it technically, and it's not only I. There are many other relevant organizations who would do it. So you could, and especially with your participation, Tariq, this type of token could be technically issued, for example, on so-called Dogenals chain, which is supported by Elon, and promoted. The key is people like you um, to understand the process and choose to promote it among all of us. And cryptocurrency community is very, I think, generous. And for example, you don't even have to issue the crypto. I believe that it should be, because you would go back to the tradition of a black Wall Street, but outside of the existing system controlled by SEC and others, we still illegal. So this is for
Now,
you.
how
And
would we get now? How would we get access to the blockchain and the cryptocurrency?
well, through me and through my black and white friends, and my company is called Copernic Space, so you can check credibility and substance of what I'm talking about. So it's technology, and blockchain is free. Blockchain is free. Blockchain is the origin of blockchain is because a guy who started it wanted to create opportunity to democratize wealth. So platform is free. So is my platform Copernic Space. So you have a choices what you have to do, and we would be happy to finance it to establish a strategy, identity, utility. The key thing is utility of the token. What does it stand for, and where does it go? So, for example, someone with your credibility, with the selected people from Tulsa community and outside, could become owners of the token, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it would feed back to so-called special purpose wallet, and your token, its credibility, its utility would be culminated by decision of the people who would issue it, how funds are going to be utilized.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they should be utilized by compensating those beautiful, beautiful black ladies that whose pictures I saw today. Okay, and then some other uses that would be symbolically relevant to the legacy of the black Black Wall Street. As you can hear, I am originally from Europe, so I wasn't aware of this dramatic part of the American history. I just, people from Oklahoma reached out to me when I started to finance
Hmm.
democratization of the space program, and this is how I found out about it. So this
Now,
is
how
perhaps
long have you been involved with the space program, by the way?
all my life, Tariq, and you know it's beyond space program. My mission as a lady rock, and as you can see, I have a blue hair. I have my fashion line because I'm not going at it as a space science. I am talking at it as space economy that should belong to all of us. And through my Lady Rocket Foundation, which teaches, including black kids in cities like Lombok and in Africa, space inspiration, because space is going to be the biggest technology economy, uh, and it is very important that communities especially black kids, black youth are being alerted when the new wealth is being created. So this is why Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, the richest dudes are in the space economy. Also Copernic Space and Lady Rocket, but we are using blockchain to open ownership, and I don't want to, invade your
Right.
critically important program, but I've been in space most of my life. My father was one of the top European space leaders, scientists. My American roots are from Silicon Valley, and what it means is that I understand how to use technology for the betterment of society, new wealth creation. And Copernic Space, I've been funding it with my son and our investors since 2019. And you know what? I can back it up. I want to donate some of the space assets, very valuable, that are going to the moon, to be monetized in recognition of beautiful women that did not find the justice today, and we can do it.
Absolutely. We need to talk. Let's talk, Ava. We absolutely need to talk. So I followed you so we can get more into it because my guy, um, let's see, you know my guy, he did a show in Europe. Why am I having a brain fart? He'd been trying to get me on Bitcoin. He was trying to get me on
Yeah.
cryptocurrency. Oh, what is his name? What is this? This guy, he did a show out there in Europe in the UK.
Well, there is a lot of good meaning guys. I cannot remember, but I am producing my own show, Tariq, right now. So let's talk, because I think your personalities, credibility, and circumstances call for bridging and shocking the system and bringing you guys into the space. Into Bitcoin is a great stuff, but I'm talking about dedicating token to the economic resolution of what happened today, and justifying it. And by the way, I am meeting with President Obama, President Biden, uh, George Clooney on Saturday. There is a dinner and a fundraising event.
Okay.
So just putting it out there, I am uh, building the agenda, what to talk about if I get an opportunity. So please stay in touch, Tariq, and let's see what we can do.
Yes, I'm following you, so you follow me, and then we'll correspond. Thank you so much, Ava. I appreciate you. All right, we'll talk. All right, see what she's talking about, and we're gonna try things from all different angles. See, my guy, Max Keiser, that's his name. I don't know why I had a brain fart. Max Keiser, real cool white guy. I was on his show. He did when I was able to go to the UK. He did a show out there, and I was on his TV show. This was way before like the crypto thing started to pop off. He was trying to get me on that then. And I'm like, I just kind of dismissed them. And then years later, them shit started blowing the hell up. I was kicking myself. He was telling me, he was like, man, there's something called cryptocurrency that's about to blow up. You need to get up on this, man. Y'all, he was like, yeah, you, some of the brothers in the US, y'all need to get on this right now. I'm like, yeah, whatever, white man. I was on that. And he was actually telling the damn truth. Oh, he was telling the damn truth. That shit blew up. And I'm like, man. And then he was telling me when the shit was dirt cheap. It was dirt cheap at the time. Yeah. So yeah, when people come with some of these other ideas, I tend to like, oh, let me hear what y'all got to say. I ain't gonna dismiss people so quickly. But we we're going to get some tangibles. Yeah, I don't want anything symbolic. Yeah, we're going to have to get tangibles.